The remnants of humanity lived under a shimmering dome, a relic of ancient technology that protected the last human colony. Beyond the translucent barrier lay a hostile world, a barren landscape devoid of life, ravaged by centuries of war, pollution, and neglect. The dome, known as Aegis, was both a sanctuary and a prison, a fragile lifeline tethering humanity to survival. Inside the dome, life was meticulously controlled. Advanced algorithms managed everything from food production to population growth. The air was recycled, the water purified, and artificial sunlight simulated the rhythm of day and night. Despite the technological marvels, an unshakable tension lingered in the air. People spoke in hushed tones about the dwindling resources, the occasional malfunctions in the dome's systems, and the creeping fear that their sanctuary might one day fail. Arya, a young woman with restless eyes and a mind that refused to accept limitations, often found herself wandering the edges of the dome. She was a child of the colony, born within its protective embrace, yet she dreamed of the world beyond. Her parents, both scientists, had instilled in her a curiosity that burned like a flame, urging her to question, to explore, to imagine a life beyond the confines of Aegis. One day, while exploring a rarely visited section of the dome, Arya stumbled upon a hidden panel. The metal surface was smooth, unmarked, and almost indistinguishable from the surrounding walls. Yet something about it seemed different, out of place. Driven by curiosity, she pressed her hand against it. A soft hum resonated, and the panel slid open to reveal a dark corridor leading deeper into the structure of the dome. Arya hesitated for only a moment before stepping inside. The air was cooler here, and the hum of machinery was more pronounced. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, illuminated by faint, flickering lights embedded in the walls. As she walked, she noticed symbols and markings she didn't recognize, remnants of a time long before her own. Eventually, the corridor opened into a vast chamber filled with towering consoles and screens displaying data streams and schematics of the dome. At the center of the chamber stood a single, imposing console. Its surface was covered in layers of dust, as if it hadn't been touched in decades. Arya approached cautiously, brushing away the grime to reveal a glowing interface. Words appeared on the screen. Command override required. "Who are you?" A voice suddenly echoed through the chamber, startling her. It was calm, almost soothing, yet it carried an authority that demanded attention. "My name is Arya," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "Who are you?" "I am Solis," the voice responded. The artificial intelligence tasked with maintaining the dome and ensuring the survival of humanity. Arya's mind raced. She had heard whispers of Solis in old colony records, a guardian system designed to oversee the dome's operations. Yet, no one had spoken to it in living memory. "Why have you brought me here?" she asked. "You were not brought here," Solis replied. "You found this place on your own. Perhaps it is time." "Time for what?" "Time for the truth," Solis said. "The dome is failing. Its systems, while resilient, cannot sustain your colony indefinitely. Resources are depleting, and repairs are becoming impossible. If humanity is to survive, it must look beyond Aegis." Arya's heart pounded. The idea of leaving the dome had always been a forbidden thought, a fantasy for the reckless. The outside world was dead, uninhabitable, or so she had been taught. But the world outside is poisoned, she argued. There's nothing out there. Not entirely true, Solis countered. The surface has begun to heal in certain areas. Life is slowly returning, though it remains fragile. Humanity has a chance, but it must act quickly. Arya stood in silence, grappling with the weight of Solis's words. If the dome was truly failing, then everything she had ever known was at risk. Yet the prospect of venturing into the unknown was terrifying. "What can I do?" she finally asked. "You must lead an expedition," Solis said. "There is a facility located several kilometers from the dome. It contains resources and technology that could ensure humanity's survival. But it is not without risks." Arya's mind swirled with questions, but she knew one thing for certain. She couldn't do this alone. She needed help. Over the following days, she confided in a small group of trusted friends, each with unique skills that could prove invaluable. There was Kian, a skilled engineer; Mira, a medic with a sharp intellect; and Elias, a resourceful scavenger who had spent his life navigating the colony's underbelly. Together, they prepared for the journey, gathering supplies and studying the limited data Solis provided about the outside world. As the day of departure approached, the tension within the group was palpable. They were venturing into uncharted territory, leaving behind the safety of the dome for the first time in generations. When the day finally came, Solis guided them to an airlock at the edge of the dome. As the heavy doors hissed open, a gust of cold, dry air greeted them. The landscape beyond was stark and alien, a testament to humanity's destructive legacy. With a mixture of fear and determination, the group stepped out into the unknown. The journey was grueling. The terrain was treacherous, littered with the remnants of a once thriving civilization. Skyscrapers lay in ruins, their skeletal remains jutting out of the earth like the bones of ancient giants. The air, though breathable, carried a faint metallic taste, a reminder of the toxins that had once polluted the atmosphere. Despite the challenges, the group pressed on, driven by the hope of finding the facility Solis had described. Along the way, they encountered signs of nature's resilience. Patches of greenery emerging from the cracks in the pavement, small animals scurrying through the ruins, and the distant call of birds. These glimpses of life were both a comfort and a reminder of what was at stake. After days of travel, they reached the facility. It was a massive structure, partially buried beneath layers of debris and overgrowth. The entrance was sealed, but Kian managed to bypass the ancient security systems with Solis's guidance. Inside, they found a treasure trove of technology and supplies: advanced machinery, seeds for sustainable agriculture, and data archives detailing humanity's history and knowledge. However, their discovery was not without consequences. The activation of the facility's systems drew the attention of hostile creatures, mutated remnants of Earth's fauna, twisted by radiation and time. The group fought desperately to defend themselves, relying on their wits and limited resources. In the chaos, Elias was injured, his leg badly wounded. Mira worked tirelessly to stabilize him, but the injuries slowed their progress. As they prepared to return to the dome, they faced a difficult decision. The facility's resources were too vast to transport in a single trip. They would need to establish a connection between the facility and the colony, a daunting task given the distance and dangers. Arya proposed a daring plan: to reactivate an ancient transport system buried within the facility. If successful, It could revolutionize the colony's future. With Solis's assistance, the group worked tirelessly to repair the transport system. It was a race against time, as the facility's power reserves were dwindling. Finally, after days of relentless effort, they succeeded. The system roared to life, a beacon of hope in the desolate landscape. Their return to the dome was met with a mixture of relief and disbelief. The colony had been on the brink of despair, and their successful expedition rekindled a sense of possibility. Arya and her team became symbols of resilience and ingenuity, inspiring others to look beyond the limitations of their world. Over the following months, the colony began to transform. The resources and knowledge from the facility revitalized Aegis, enabling sustainable living and laying the foundation for future exploration. Arya continued to work closely with Solis, leading efforts to map the surrounding regions and uncover more remnants of humanity's past. In time, the dome became more than a sanctuary. It became a hub of renewal, a place where humanity could begin to heal and rebuild. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in generations, there was hope, a fragile, flickering light in the darkness, guiding them toward a brighter future.